before the show, because at the first X Games ever, I lived in Canada and I didn't have a athlete visa, and my actual holiday visa was running out, so I got drove through customs and pretended to be an American at the border, and they were like,
"Do your American accent, please."
I was. They were like, no, American, and he was like, "Excuse me," and I was like, "I'm American." And he was like, let me ask you a few more questions. I was like, man, I've been practicing the word American for like 2 days. And if you're going to ask me another question, I'm fucked. But then I was still getting through with some shitty like, hey, man, it's cool. You know what I mean? I'm total American. Come on. And he was like, you sound funny. Let me check your bag. And my girlfriend at the time put a really nice letter in their little note saying good luck. And, this hopefully will get us a visa to live here. And he read it and was like, you're fucking Australian. What are you talking about?
Hello, hello. What's up, everybody?
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey. We are here. We are international. We're international. You're from Australia.
I am.
Kenny Jacobs
Just
is
a
here.
reminder, you're from Australia.
Yeah.
I'm from the Netherlands.
From the Netherlands.
You're from here.
I'm
Right
California,
here.
bro.
Yeah, you're here.
Yee!
He's a smoker. He's a toker. He's a midnight fucking whatever.
I like how you equate that to California.
Yeah, to you. Everybody sounds like Tony Hawk to me.
Steve Miller Band
That's a
is
good
California. Okay, cool.
Go
Whatever.
to the drive-thru. Hey,
Represent.
hey, it's Tony Hawk. Take your order.
Take
You're
your
like,
order.
okay. Let me get a 900. Yeah, they don't sell them.
Hey, welcome.
Yeah.
Thank
How
you.
are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm good. I'm chilling.
It's funny. We're all here while the X Games is going on down the street.
I was just thinking about it's at this time, like right.
This is
right
what's
now.
happening, though.
Yeah,
This is
what's
it.
happening.
No, I mean, it's cool that's going on.
What is happening today? Which part?
Women.
Right.
Women's Street.
Right.
Women's Street.
Yeah.
See? She knows her
They forgot
priorities.
about me.
Kind of makes sense.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just
You
kidding.
should know that. Yeah.
Wait, is there a qualifying process for Women's Street there?
No. I don't think
Just
it's this
picking
time. So it was
favorites?
well, yeah,
Or-
maybe. I don't know. Like
Hmm.
I like sometimes when there's a qualifier, they'll invite me. But it's like right now because it's in the TF, it's a little bit different. I think.
Yeah.
Like it used to be in all the. big
It's a
games.
little squirrely with how they choose skaters.
Sometimes it's
For
like
sure.
that though.
Yeah.
Like I, especially me from being from Europe and all that stuff. Like I'm
They
used to like
expect
that
you won't be
process.
here.
Yeah, and if I'm not in the area, they forget that I exist, kind of.
Right.
So I try to come back to California
Yeah.
every once in a while. Just
Understood. Well, we didn't forget about you.
Yeah, that's good. I'm happy you guys didn't. It's way more important than X Games, to be honest.
Yes.
That's what's up.
So Candy, how long you been skating?
Oh, I've been skating since I was 13. I'm 32 now. So what is that like? A lot
I don't
of
know.
years.
Yeah,
19
don't do that here. A long
Like
time.
lot. Yeah, about 18 years, I think.
Oh, awesome. And full disclosure, she skates for Birdhouse.
Right.
But that does
There
not
we
weigh
go.
on this. That's not why you're here.
Right.
No, we were in touch. Actually, I realized we're going to record today, and you said you were in town, so here we are.
It's a good combo.
That worked.
Yeah. It's been really fun to see your rise and to be part of it too. But I guess we should talk about the elephant in the room is that we went to Tokyo. You went to Tokyo.
Yeah.
Qualified for the Netherlands for street, and
We didn't get to see each other.
we didn't get to see each other. I barely got to see anyone anyway, but I did. Well, I did get to see the women's street practice. And you were not there because you tested positive for COVID.
Yeah.
And that is just one of the most crushing stories I've ever heard.
But you didn't
I think you were the first athlete to test positive for COVID. Is that right?
Well, at least I was the first athlete. Before me, there were like coaches and like people around, like
Mhm.
what do they call it? Like the people, I don't know, builds and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was the first athlete. So it was like a curse and a blessing because I was the first one. It got a lot of attention.
Right.
On the other hand, I was the first one. I was like patient zero. So that was like, yeah.
They didn't know exactly how to
No one
deal
knew the
with you.
process. No one
Right.
knew what was going to happen. And first thing I did is I texted my mom. I was like, hey, mom, something bad might be happening. Like, be on standby. And it was in the middle of the night back home. But I thought it was a false positive because I didn't have any like symptoms and I was chilling. So I was like, whoa, where did this come from? I
Mhm.
was shocked. And then, everything spiraled. And then 4 doctors walked in. They were like, hey, it's official. You tested positive for COVID. And I was like, okay, it's over now.
I mean, if that's the last scenario you would have imagined.
Yeah, and
right?
I was skeptical, like heading towards Olympics, because like I'm not a pessimist, but I tend to like take a lot of things in account. So I was like, I might break my leg before I like might mess up
Right.
my knee. Like I thought it wasn't gonna happen until I was actually there. And then I remember I have like a clip with my coach. Like I was like, yo, we made it. And that was the first time I let my guard down. I was like, wait, I
like
made
everything's good. We're
it.
here.
And then everything went to shit. So it was like,
yeah.
God damn it.
And you think you got it on the plane?
Yeah, we're pretty sure. Like looking back, that was the only place I could have gotten it.
Yeah.
Before that, I was in quarantine as well.
Yeah.
And then on that flight, 6 other people tested positive as well. And they were like in different areas. But we also found out like the people weren't, like the flight attendants were tested. Like we were in the mixed area because they said they clustered us, but we were the only ones that weren't clustered. I think maybe they thought, oh, it's like one of those sports. I don't know, whatever.
Damn.
But we were like mixed with other people. And I think we found out there was like one guy tested positive on the airport that same day.
Yeah.
But they didn't tell us. So for us, it was like a total surprise.
Yeah. So you think when
ass.
you get that's it for you, that you're not going to make it in the Olympics? Like, do you think there's one, I'll be in the next one, or are you thinking to yourself, that's it?
Well, at that point, I was like, that's it. Like, I'm never going to experience this again. And I also realized, like, because it's been like quite of a mission for me to get there. Like, I've had my fair share of injuries. Like, I'm an older skater. Like, I've been doing contests so long that, like, I know how to take care of my body, but I also know the toll it takes on my body.
Yeah.
So it's like, ooh, another 4 years is going to be really intense. Now I realize it was only 3 back then because we had like that one COVID year, kind of.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be 2020 and it was 2021. And now it's only 2 years away and I'm skating and I'm doing pretty good. So who knows?
You'll be fine.
Might happen. Yeah.
You
I'll be
will make it.
fine. I'll be fine. I'll be there. Yeah.
There is a documentary about Candy's experience of that whole thing, that
It's out?
story. It's out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's out now.
It's called A Skater's Mind.
Yeah.
I watched it yesterday. It's really fascinating, but it's so painful to see you learning all of that and sharing it, and you can just tell that it was, you were working so hard towards that. And there were parts of it that I was watching. It's not a spoiler alert because you just said it yourself, but there are parts of it that I was watching where you are so convinced that was your only opportunity. Yeah. And I'm watching it going, it's only 2 years away.
It's not true.
Like it's gonna be okay. I've seen you skating. Like, I think you might be skating better than when you were going there. So anyway, it was odd seeing it from that perspective. But
yeah, but it's weird. Like you get sucked into this vortex of your own mind, which is, for me, it's not my friendliest place to be in. Like my brain is like kind of messed up, and I'm pretty tough on myself. So being like locked in a room for 10 days after, like, for me at that point was the worst thing that could happen to me happened to me. Being all by myself, like my Wi-Fi kept dropping, so I couldn't really like phone people and stuff. So it was like really, I was by myself. I couldn't, like, watching the Olympics was such a mission because the Wi-Fi kept dropping. I couldn't see the live stream, and I was like, oh, I was stressed out. But it was like being in there with yourself for 10 days. Like, in the documentary, you see the process of me like going like, yeah, I'm gonna be fine. And then 2 days after, I was like, oh, I might not be fine. And then on day 6, I was like, I'm giving up. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna like overcome this. And then when I came back home, it was the first time in my life where I didn't feel like skateboarding, which was insane because I've loved skateboarding my whole life. Like, it's always been my outlet and like the thing I love the most. Also the thing I hate the most, because we all know what it's like. Like, it's draining, but it's like I love it so much. I always want to do it. I've never had one day in my career where I woke up and was like, I don't feel like skating today.
Right.
But then I came back and I was like, I don't feel like skating. Like, I didn't feel like anything.
Was it because you were soured from that experience, or because you had been sitting around for so long?
No, I think both. Like, I think I like picked up a little trauma out there. Just like,
absolutely.
But also like looking forward to it that much and like putting everything on the line all the time, and then having it. Well, it felt like it was taken away from me, and we were just talking about it before the show. It was like, for me, that was like my space to show like my value. And I know that's not how it works. We all know that's not how it works. You don't get it from external stuff or like contests or sponsorships or whatever. It's always like it's within you. Mm-hmm. But for me, that seemed like the one point where I was gonna like feel that moment, feel like, oh, now everything falls into place and I feel valued. But that didn't happen for me.
Well, if you want some perspective, Jason and I grew up at a time when the Olympics were not even on the radar, nor did we care about it.
Yeah.
And we don't put that much emphasis on it.
Yeah.
And I understand that you're living in a generation where you're still fresh in skating, so it seems like it's the biggest thing. It's not the biggest thing.
I know it's not.
It's big. It's big in
Felt
terms
like it,
of
though.
exposure on a general audience and whatnot. But I actually had this conversation with someone recently who's putting on a big event, and it might be with other sports and things. And they're like, well, how does it, how do we get the merit? I'm like, you're not going to get the merit unless it's like Tampa Pro.
Yeah.
Right.
That's just how it is. Or Copenhagen Open. Like that, you can't, if you're combining other sports, you're never going to get that same validation from the skate crowd.
From the scene. Yeah, true.
From the scene,
That's
yeah.
for sure
So I just want you to know that, and that, I was stoked you're in the Olympics, but that was incidental to me thinking what a good skater you are.
Yeah.
We talked about it before the show, because at the first X Games ever, I lived in Canada and I didn't have a athlete visa, and my actual holiday visa was running out. So I drove through customs and pretended to be an American at the border, and they were like,
"Do your American accent, please."
I was. They were like, no, American, and he was like, "Excuse me," and I was like, "I'm American." And he was like, Let me ask you a few more questions. I was like, man, I've been practicing the word American for like 2 days. And if you're going to ask me another question, I'm fucked. But then I was still getting through with some shitty like, hey, man, it's cool. You know what I mean? I'm total American. Come on. And he was like, you sound funny. Let me check your bag. And my girlfriend at the time put a really nice letter in there, little note saying good luck. And, this hopefully will get us a visa to live here. And he read it and was like, you're fucking Australian. What are you talking about? And I was like, yeah. And
mate.
He was like, off you go. So I drove back into Canada. And that's when but I remember it was the first X Games. There was no other contest that had ever been this big ever. It was going to be on TV. I was still good. I was ready to go. And I'm not in it. And I watched it on TV and I was like, you're over. It's over. And then like a month later, I got sponsored by POW and they got me an athlete visa and I was in like 10 X Games after it. So it's not,
insane.
It never really ends. And it sounds like after this happened to you, if you don't mind me saying, you got therapy, right?
Yeah.
Which has opened, and will continue to open more doors for you to believe in yourself. Because if you win or you don't win,
it doesn't matter.
You're still awesome.
Yeah, true.
You
I'm
are.
trying to learn that.
I swear, where you're like old school me. People have told me that, like, don't do that, Jason. Like, you're good. I'm like, I'm fucking suck. Like, get over it.
Yeah.
Because I have that guy still in my head. I just now can hear him. Like, I'm like, you're the worst. And I'll still say it if I get angry. I'm like, God, you're so bad. You're so fat. I call myself fat as well. That person, the insulting guy that hates Jason, who is Jason, will say that. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, stop. I'm not that fat. I've been working out. Like, I can do it because it's all. But at one
it's
point,
an effort. Like,
that was the loudest
time.
voice.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're.
I'm in the process.
Because you are awesome. You're not on Birdhouse because you are a great person.
Well, I just watched you. I just watched you struggle with dropping in on the Ver-Amp.
See, not that awesome.
Which is clearly not hard for her. I've seen her skate plenty quarter pipes and other things, and she's standing up there, and you could tell that voice is coming in like, nah, maybe not. Yeah. And she did that thing like 5 times at least. Put the tail out, went no.
Yeah.
And then when you did it, it was one of the most solid drop-ins I've ever seen on here, especially with someone with loose trucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird though. Like that voice is like, it's intense. And I know like skateboarding brings out the best and the worst in me. That's what I said. Like I feel like every time I skate, I have to prove to myself that I can do stuff. And I skate. Well, Brandon is behind the scenes, but I skate with him a lot. And it's like every time we go skate, he's like, "Come on, man, you can do this. Like you've done this." And then.
Well, he got you to do it.
Yeah, well,
it wasn't me.
He feeds the good wolf,
I was trying, but I didn't know the technique.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's weird. Like I try to convince myself every day, and I think after the Olympics, that's like I needed to do that with everything in my life. Like I was gonna go to the store, and like in my country is like a kind of a big thing, and it went international, so a lot of people knew about it, and I was like, dude, everyone knows, and everyone knows I suck, and everyone knows I had COVID, and like. I stressed myself even about like going to the store.
How do those equate? Everyone knows I suck and I had COVID.
Well, that was like the meaning I gave to it.
Okay.
And I talk to my friends a lot and they're like, dude, like I'll walk on the road and a car hits me. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay, is that my own fault? I'm like, no. She's like, okay, you got COVID. I was like, yeah, but that's like, it's different because it's me. Like, no, we have these conversations a lot and like, I know I'm working on it, man. Like it
takes time.
It's a mission.
It doesn't. I told you, it doesn't happen overnight.
But also with that, and as you go through that process, your skating's only going to get better from that. And I know you think you're older and whatnot, but I can tell you from experience, like I quit competing when I was 31 and I got way better. And so I had a sweet spot from like 31 to almost 40 where I was learning more tricks than ever, doing demos, skating the best. I'm telling you, like that was my experience. So don't worry about that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Hulk versus Wolf listeners, do you know about Kratom? Well, I do. Super Speciosa is a brand that makes some of the finest kratom on the planet. I don't know why I'm talking like that. If you don't know what kratom is, you could probably Google it, but it helps energize your mind, relax your body. It helps you feel good without feeling impaired. And Super Speciosa has the one ingredient, pure kratom leaf. Wow, I didn't know that. Riff on how do they know that? What is they got the best kratom? I didn't know that. Well, I need to only use their kratom. That's not fair. Yeah, but if it helps, they're saying if you want to ask for a raise from your boss. I never thought of that. I just feel it helps with pain and if I'm really sore in the morning and I got to train with my coach, it does help. So check it out. I got a code for you guys if you're interested in checking it out. They're recommending the green strands, the most popular 100% satisfaction or your money back guaranteed, everybody. This code can be used again for people in the audience that have already used the code. Oh, good. I hate when they do that. Okay, good. So this code, you can get it again if you run out. Try Kratom now and get 20% off. Go to getsuperleaf.com/wolf. 20% off, everybody, with the promo code WOLF. That's getsuperleaf.com/wolf and use the promo code WOLF for 20% off, man.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's like, but skateboarding, like I said in the documentary as well, is like, I know skateboarding is the place that will give me back that feeling again as well. Like, it brought me so much good stuff in my life, and getting to experience different places and different people and meeting, like going to all these contests. Like I just recently started doing like the SLS stuff and all that stuff again. Saw you there, I think Salt Lake, whatever, Lake Havasu.
Yes.
Saw you somewhere.
Salt Lake.
And it was like being in that place made me feel super vulnerable as well, because I was like, oh, these are like all my friends that did go to the Olympics. So that the first one was like super confronting, but afterwards I'm like, dude, they don't care. Like they knew me before and they know me now, and for them it's not a thing that for me.
Okay, but also for your teammates that came back, like they successfully skated the Olympics. Did their life change?
No. Well, yeah and no.
I mean, do you feel like they have things now, opportunities or whatever, or confidence that you don't?
No.
There you go.
They just have an Olympic tattoo that I don't have. I swear that's the only difference. No, it's like,
wait,
but
they
it's
got
good that
the
you
tattoo?
say that though. Yeah, they all got the tattoo.
You were in the Olympics.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot.
So what are you gonna?
I'm definitely not getting the tattoo. I'm gonna get it in the next one. I'm Paris. I'm getting it.
That's gonna be way cooler anyway.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be way cooler anyway. No, but no, it's true though. Like I like that you say that, because I don't think their lives changed a lot because of the Olympics. Yeah, it was an experience, and I think the process going there changed it way more than actually being there. And I think, like being here changed my life every time. Like every time I go to Cali, I'm like, whoa, I'm experiencing stuff. I learn new tricks. I meet new people. So that changes my life way more than going to the Olympics.
Right.
So I know, like in my brain, I know all of this. Now I just got to feel it.
Do you think the negative thoughts in your mind helped you get good at skateboarding? Like, because you're always fighting to prove yourself?
Yeah, and I think that's also the reason I hold on to it as much, because I think it gives me something.
Right.
But I also start realizing that what if I can let that go? Like, could I live up to my fullest potential maybe?
Yeah.
Because now I'm also keeping myself small by doing that all the time. And I think a lot of skaters I meet actually do that. They because skateboarding is hard, man. Like you gotta have so much discipline, and you do the same thing all over again. Like you do it every time, you fall a million times. So you learn how to be tough. And I think, I grew up skateboarding when there weren't any contests, there weren't any women in skateboarding. Like I think I was skating for 5 years when I met the first other woman in my career, and I was like, wait, there's other girls skating? What the heck?
In the Netherlands or elsewhere?
No, and then I was only in the Netherlands, so that's where we had Louisa Manka, and that was it. And then I met Evelyn Bouillard like a few years later, and I was like, whoa, there's actually more women skating. And I also think like growing up in that environment where it was cool, like you rolled your ankle and you drank a beer and everyone was like, yo, come, I'll see you tomorrow. And you were skating the day after and everyone's like applauding it because that was sick, you know, like, oh, you just rolled your ankle yesterday. And now now I realize that environment also makes you like super tough. Like you got to be hard on yourself. And I think that's what skateboarding does as well. And now I feel like skateboarding is a way friendlier place. Like everyone's like, hey, take good care of your body. And like, no, you rest up, Tony.
It's awesome.
You just broke your leg, you know, like take it easy. And people try to like make you aware of how healthy it is to go to the gym and all that stuff. Like it used to not be like that. Like, it was pretty tough, I think.
The word's out. Like, you know, being positive only makes you better.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the thing you're talking about, I didn't want to go to. I remember at one point, I knew I was crazy in a certain way. And I thought that helped me with skateboarding. I was like, if you do this wrong, you're going to get so worked, and to throw that out the window and commit to it anyway was kind of like being a bit crazy.
Yeah.
And I thought, don't ever lose the crazy, Jason, because that's what gets you to make some of the shit that you do.
That's Knoxville told me the same thing. He said he needed to change his habits or his compulsive behaviors in his life, but he didn't want to change what makes him do crazy jackass stuff. And so he had to work with a therapist. Like, I still want to have this in me to jump on the bull or get knocked over.
Yeah, but it's also the meaning you give to it because you think that's the part.
It's all wrapped up. It's like even I had the same thing. Like I went through a process, and it gave me more incentive to skate. And it wasn't like yes, there was something teaching me like, hey, skateboarding is not the only thing, and it shouldn't be the priority. It shouldn't take away from everything else. But at the same time, when I finally went through that, and you have that sort of all the noise falls away, then you can focus on it more intently, but in a healthier way.
Yeah. To me, I could still do all those things. I just had a way bigger appreciation for when I did it.
Yeah.
It used to be the crazy, I'd do it and be like, fucking, maybe
crazy,
what's next?
Destructive side.
Yeah, like I wasn't like, dude, you know what you just did, right? Like, have a think about it for a second. That is pretty good. You're pretty good. No, I never did that. So now, the only thing is I'm fucking 50, so what I do now is not anywhere near as good as what it was. But even now, because of where I am in my head, when I do stuff now that's good for my level,
you can appreciate it.
I appreciate it more than I ever appreciated any trick I ever did in my prime. Like, it's a little bit sad how much I get off on doing something today. Like, if I do something today that I haven't done in 20 years, which is totally possible because I'm still learning the things I used to do, I will take more than a moment to, like, I did a 360 varial. It's just him and I on the ramp. I started to like well up a little bit.
That's it.
Because he was like, man, that was clean. That was like a proper one. I was like, thanks, man. Like, I'm like, holy shit. Because I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
I never did. I just moved to the next one.
The advantage you have is that we've been through this fire, but we did it at a later age. And so you're doing it while you're younger, so you're going to have much more opportunity physically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're fighting the clock here.
Yeah.
But you're going to have more because I do feel like I see you're working out like you're healthier than ever. And I feel like you have a lot of good years ahead of you.
Let's hope so. Yeah. Working on it.
I mean, that's what I'm banking on as your sponsor.
Yeah, I wanted to say that's why you hit me up.
I'm invested in this, Candy.
Oh, that's sick. Appreciate that.
So it must have been hard being the only woman skating in those days.
Oh, it wasn't though.
It wasn't.
No, it's like we have this conversation a lot. Like people are like, yeah, but being a woman in a man's world, I'm like, dude, I had like my boys back me.
Homies,
like,
yeah,
they were like super down and they love what I did. And I had like, I think at one point I had like the local skate shop sponsor me. I remember him saying, he was like, yo, if you do a flip 50 on this like obstacle we have, you're gonna get sponsored. And I was like, I'm doing it. Did the flip 50, got 10% off, and I was like, that was your
sponsorship, 10% off?
Yeah, that was like my biggest thing I would ever achieve in my skateboarding career, and I was like, that's sick. Like, but I always had the homies back me up, so it was like, I never felt like that was strange or whatever, but until I saw that Evelyn skating, I was like, wait, is this a weird position I'm in? Like, why am I the only girl like in my town? And then I found out there was like one other woman skating in the Netherlands, and that was it.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa, that's kind of weird, but it gave me like more power because I realized how rare it was, like that position, how extraordinary it was. Like it wasn't like a lot of people think it's like a bad thing, but for me that was like super chill. I was like, whoa, I stand, like when I go to a skate park, I stand out.
Yeah.
I get to meet people like that. And for me, it wasn't like a hard thing.
But that's ironic. That's such an emboldened attitude for someone that has a lot of self-doubt, because most women that grew up in that era that you're in, especially here, felt so intimidated by skate parks. And they probably got a lot of flack too.
Yeah.
They didn't embrace it like, I'm different. It was
No,
like,
I was
I'm
hyped.
scared.
I got a lot of hate as well though, but it didn't bug me as much because I knew I was like, at one point I realized I was the only woman and they were like, yeah, you can only do this because you're a girl. And I was like, I got 10% off. Like, what are you going to do about it? Yeah, it wasn't like a weird thing for me. It was just
Pretty
like,
great.
I was chilling with it.
Yeah.
And then I think I started learning about like, you know, equality and all that stuff way late. Like, I think I was in my 20s when someone said like, hey, it's kind of weird that you don't get paid as much when you go to a contest as the dudes. And I was like, well, yeah, it makes sense because I was brought up like this as well by the boys. They were like, yeah, but you're the only girl. Like, it makes sense that you get less. And I was like, yeah, it makes sense. And then I started learning about it. And I was like, wait, it doesn't really make sense because my rent is the same and my food cost is the same and all that stuff. And then I started realizing like, okay, I gotta like be smarter about what I do and what I don't. But I just love skateboarding that much. And
What you do and what you don't, do you mean in terms of what you...
Going to walk contests and like, you know, like talking about, like talking
That's what I
to people
mean in
about
terms of what you put out there, speaking and opinions.
Yeah, because I used to not do that. I was just like, because I was skating. And I also thought that was the main thing, you skate.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started learning about like, I also knew like I studied as a pedagogic social worker, I think it is.
You did?
Yeah, like I got a diploma and all that stuff. And then when I was like 19, I started to work in a juvenile detention center as a social worker. So I woke up to cuts
with
and all
the
that.
youth.
Yeah, and because it was kind of weird because I've always hated authority my whole life. Like even like anything that smells like authority, like I'm pissed off like instantly. It just happens. And then I get this job and I'm like, whoa, I can like kind of make a difference here. But then I started learning about like how important you as a role model are. Like it's not just what I say, it's what I do. And then I started implementing that in skateboarding as well. It's like, okay, it's not about like my tricks, like how weird it sounds with the thoughts I have. But I was like, hey, it's like the people you touch and the people you meet and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, I learned about that. And then I started going to skate contests and I was like putting the role model thing out there. And I was like, hey, I have a voice. Like I can use that. I can go to like a contest organizer and be like, hey, listen, it's kind of weird. Like,
you could be an advocate for change
and
a champion for it too.
Got invited to X Games, met Mimi Noob. They have like the Women's Skateboarding Alliance. She's like one of the founders of it. And they told me the story about how it went with X Games. They weren't like, hey, we want equal prize money, but they were like, hey, we want a seat at the table. And I was like, wait, it's way smarter to say like, hey, instead of like, oh, we need the same money, you're like, hey, we want to have a voice and then we can voice what we need and whatever. And I started using that. And I think that's like what made me bigger in skateboarding, just because I got smarter. It wasn't just because my tricks got better or whatever. It's just because I was smarter and I was like talking to the right people and I was using my voice.
Did you feel that it was that you were risking your success or your position by being vocal?
Yes.
That's scary.
I still feel like that because like recently there was a contest in Europe and I noticed that the prize money was way unequal and I sent them a message. I was like, hey, listen, I noticed this and this. And they were like, yeah, well, we believe equality is skating in a men's contest and not getting paid as much. And I was like, well, that's kind of like not of this time anymore. Wow. I can see what you feel. But then I was like, okay, maybe we can start a crowdfunding. Just to like, also like to show them how...
Crowdfunding for the prize money?
Yeah. Because then they have to like, you know, I know it's
they have,
like
well,
kind
they
of
have
a
to
dick move
acknowledge
as well.
They can't ignore it.
Yeah, they have to. And then it wouldn't be on them, but it would be on us, like the community. I was like, yeah, we are the scene, so we can change the scene. And then I actually got a message in the end saying, you just ruined 15 years of skateboarding. Thank you. And or like something like that. And I was like,
you mean your 15 years?
That's what he said to me. And I was like, whoa, chill. No, I ruined their whole contest by saying that. Because
I don't want to know.
No, I'm not going to say it anyways. Because it doesn't matter. Because it happens all the time. And especially in Europe, it's like, we're still a little bit behind, like as far as skate contests and like equality wise. And I was like, okay, well, fine. And then I talked to some people and they were like, yeah, you could just like post it. I was like, no, I don't want to though. Like I want them to think about it. And because next contest, they're going to do it differently. And then I spoke to like...
you mean like actually screenshot the message or whatnot?
Yeah, I have a screen recording of that whole thing, but I'm not going to use it because I was like, no, because this is not what it's about. Like I want to use my voice for the good. And I don't want to like blackmail someone into like changing their contest or whatever. I just want to make them think. but it's still like until this day, it's still happening, and it's like it's making my position kind of funky because next time I go to the contest, I'm gonna feel awkward. But on the other hand, well, I'm not going to go to the contest if the prize money is still unequal.
Yeah.
But you know, like
Anybody who says that isn't a skateboarder, so if they don't respect you, who gives a fuck?
Also true. But it makes your position vulnerable. And right now I know like I'm not gonna get deleted out of skateboarding, but there used to be a time when I thought
not ever.
Like that
doesn't
was gonna happen though. Like, you know,
you
like,
cannot do that. All of them could get together and all fucking sing Kumbaya. You're not getting out. Like you're in.
Yeah.
They're out. They're not in.
That's how
They're
it
not
is.
ever getting in. You get to film us and put it on there and make all your money. That's it. That's enough.
No,
it's quite
it's
a lot,
like,
actually.
It makes your position weird, like being the person saying that. But it also like I realized like there's a whole generation behind me. Now we have like Rose and Kate like in the Netherlands, and they're killing it.
You were leading the charge,
and it was also like for me that was always like the backbone. I was always like, yeah, I don't want them to like have the same battles as I do, so I'm gonna speak up. And I'm gonna speak up every time I see something that I don't like or I don't like. We'll have a conversation. Like I'm never gonna try to blackmail you or like cancel you or whatever you want to call it nowadays. But I want to have the conversation because I know I don't want them to have the same conversations as I did like 15 years ago. So
It's weird you're saying that because we had Carabeth Burnside on here talking about how she did that and organized all the girls to not be in a contest and then they got more money. And I'm like, wait, you're doing it again? We're doing this again?
We're doing this again. Yeah, that's also...
but she's doing it in a place where they haven't evolved in that sense.
It's weird because like we're also like super dependent on the US market kind of like, and you would say like if you see all the US contests like doing the same thing, like they're equal, but now
and they're making so much money off you guys.
Oh yeah, that's
the women's skateboard vibe in America, like this, the shoe, the van, like it's huge.
Yeah.
Like there never used to be giant posters in the front of skate shops or surf shops or whatever of a girl skating. That's like a regular thing now. Like I see commercials
Lizzie's commercial
on television.
Yeah,
it's on television. Like, hey, do you want to be cool like these girls? Get this stuff. Where'd that come from? Who's in? It's you guys.
Yeah.
You're the one that made it look cool. That even if you don't skate, people want to look like you guys.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's all that money. Not to mention the level that you guys are at now. Holy shit!
But just as women today, we're lucky to have Carabeth.
For
breaking those, breaking those barriers.
The Carabats, the Mimis, like they all like
right. But you're lucky not you. I'm saying like Ruse and the other women who are younger coming up, especially in Europe, are lucky to have had you leading that charge because you're doing it in a different area where it needed to be done, and it wasn't resonating across continents.
Yeah, true.
So I think it's really cool. I think it's so cool that you guys all got to. I know the Olympics was a tragedy in a lot of ways, but that you all guys
three generations,
got three generations. Yeah,
it
was amazing to see you guys skating around the Olympic Village
and it's
together.
rad because our country is so small as well. Like we're like we have 16 million people in our whole country. Like you drive 3 hours and you're like in the ocean. Like that's it. But it's super sick to see that the level of skateboarding, like especially in women's skateboarding, grew so fast. And it's like Kate is like the new generation. I see like the little girls look up to her. I'm like, we did this. Like we're really doing this. It's sick. Yeah. And to have the three of us be there was insane.
It was very cool.
It was sick.
That's awesome. Yeah, I had people talk to me about the contest that don't skate. Did you see the women's contest? And I was like, yeah. But I was like, wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, like the women contests are like more they speak more to them because it's not so complicated. Like I think it's a little bit more easy to understand, and the camaraderie really shows. I think. And I think that's what people like.
That was another thing that I heard.
That was the thing that I tried to explain to people of why skateboarding was different. Why when you saw it in the Olympics, it stood out was because, especially in the women's events, street and park mostly.
Yeah.
When you saw them carrying each other.
Yeah, it was so rad.
And celebrating together that they were just in it.
Yeah.
That was what it was about. That no one is used to seeing that in sports.
Yeah, I remember like there was like people from like commentaries like saying, also in the Netherlands, but also in other parts, like it's kind of weird like how they celebrate each other. And I was like, this is not. They even said like this is not sports. I'm like, what the heck? Like, how is the idea of sports so messed up that you like have to hate your like the people.
It's not about fun.
You. Yeah,
how dare you guys?
It's a war. God damn it.
Yeah, it's wild. It's insane. But like we grow like, and I think like stuff like that, like that's what I wanted to show in the documentary is how much skateboarding can mean to the world. It's not just
Right.
like it's a social thing, but it's also sport. It also shows you discipline. It shows you how to stand up for yourself. You can be creative. Like it brings so much to the table, and I think that's also why the Olympics wanted skateboarding to be in because it's so of I think of this time.
Well, they just needed a cool factor in their summer games.
They got it though,
and they got it with skateboarding.
They got
right,
it, yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that the motivation behind it was let's show the sport with camaraderie.
No, but I think
they're like we need
can show
younger
that, though.
viewers.
Tony and I know we know some upper level people.
Yeah,
we know how
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's
How
not for
many
the passion.
more,
Trust me.
No,
Yeah.
but that's like the for me that's the upside because it's in the end it's always about money, like viewings, whatever. But we get to decide what it looks like, and that's what I tell these people. Like I
Right.
talk with about the contest and equal prize. Like we make the scene, like we make
Right.
it sick and cool, and we make it that kids want to do it. And it's not that it doesn't matter if you do a 540 or a 900. Yeah, it's sick, but if you're a cool ass dude, which you are, that makes the kids want to skate. It's not the tricks you do or whatever. It's the scene. We make it.
Yeah, and that well, just it's so creative, and I think that shines through too. Is that everyone's an individual. They are embracing their individuality, and they're not trying to conform into anything. And it's just like, whoa, this is this is like an art
rad.
movement.
Yeah,
I love it.
And it's cool that they made it. Well, I just cool that I think it's cool that shined through the bureaucracy of Olympic programming.
Yeah, and especially
Because it would be so easy to just sanitize all that where you wouldn't even be able to see it on TV, but we saw it.
That was cool.
It was
Skateboarding's
cool.
sick.
And I can't wait to see you in the next one. What is the process going forward for that?
Honestly, we already started the season again, and I did my first contest. We have like a few. I think we had. Well, this is like the first time the Olympics was happening. We kind of know what the process is, but not really. Like we know there's going to be some contests you can get like points on, and then you add those points, and then every country gets to send a maximum of 3 people, one of every continent. That's still the same, but we're not really sure about the qualifying process yet. I know this year there was Rome, and there's going to be I think October maybe. There's going to be the World Championships in Rio, and that's going to be. And I think for park there's only one this year, and then next year there's going to be like a few more contests, and that I think that's it because then we're already in 2024. It goes fast.
Yeah, it's coming up quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
you got to do well at one of those contests. That's how it works.
Yeah, or at all of them.
At all of them.
Yeah. Because you get points as you go. So let's.
So
say
you got to be consistent.
Yeah, it's like you have like a full season, and then last time they did like I think like 5 or 6 contests, and then you took your best 3 scores. But now because there's only a limited amount of contests, you have to do good at every contest.
Yeah.
So that's also the hard part. Just being a contest skater, that's like the main thing. Like you got to be consistent, but you also got to be in good shape. Like getting injured is like gonna mess with the whole process.
So are you saying that you need to perform well in the overall points or in comparison to the other skaters from the Netherlands?
Also.
Also.
We could go with
But you don't
3
want to
of
bank
us.
on that though.
No, and it's also like we can send 3 people from the Netherlands, so we could potentially go with all 3 of us again.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But in the whole overall ranking, I think the deal is you have to be top 20 in the cleaned ranking. So that means 3 of every country. So there's going to be 7 Japanese girls in it, but only 3 can go to Olympics. So 4 drop. So that means
I see. So
that means I go 4 places up
that's
because I'm not from
complicated. I
Japan.
understand.
Stuff like that. And then in the end, you just want to we have an extra rule from the Netherlands, and that means you have to skate a final at least once. So you have to make top 8 at least once just to be able to go for your country.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe if you make top 20 and you didn't make that top 8, they'll like figure out a
understood.
way. But
Yep.
officially, you have to make top 8 at least one time,
Yeah.
and then be in the top 20 of the world. That's the mission.
Right. They present it as you've got to be.
Yeah.
You got to be placing in the elite level.
Because they call it like this. I like the way they say it. They don't want Olympic tourism. So if you go, you got to have the potential to get a medal.
Understood.
That's the mission.
Right. Well, that's
So
how they
let's-
paint
let's
it.
see
That's
what
how they
happens.
paint it for you.
Let's see what happens.
But we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what happens. What about just general skating? I know you've been working on a little bit of a video.
Yeah.
In fact, Chris Gregson was shooting stuff of you, and he's the one who told me that you really should check. You really should consider putting Candy on the team. I already knew about your skating and whatnot, But his pitch was because Candy is down to shoot footage, to go on tour, to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, it's funny. Like the first time I met Chris was at a coffee shop. Like we were at Duo Tour and we were at a coffee shop and he was like, "Hey, you skate a contest, right?" I was like, "Yeah. You shoot the contest, right?" He was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Would you mind if I like roll with you when you skate?" And I was like, "No, because it's gonna be sick because there's 2 of us out there and it's not just gonna be me."
Yeah.
And that's like kind of how I got to know him. And he actually sent me a DM. He was like, "Yo, I kind of dropped your name with Tony, so yeah, don't look up weird if he sends you a message." And I was like, probably not, you know, like I was like, "Thanks, Chris," and it just kept going. And then I got your DM, and I was like, "Mom, I think my life just changed." Like, it was insane. Like, yeah, Chris hooked it up.
Oh, it was fun. So on the flip side of that, following women around the street course, I did that at the X Games, and they kicked me out. I mean, not the X Games, the Olympics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was shooting stuff, and then at some point they're like, "Tony Hawk, please get off the course." And the guy's like, "I'm only saying this because someone is in my ear saying it. I didn't want to tell you that." It's fun.
It's insane. No, but I went filming with Chris for a little bit, and that was fun. I was in this area everywhere, so I think we had like a few days, and he was like, "Yo, if you want to go, I'm ready." And I was like, "Okay, guess I'm ready too. Let's go." So we try to find some spots.
Let's keep stacking those clips.
Yeah, and I've been filming a little bit back home, but it was winter and it's back home, so it looks a little bit different than California clips, kind of. But I've been
it's
like,
it's all good.
I've been getting footage and trying to bring a part out and see what happens with that. Because I also realized that contest skating is what I've always done, and I love it because it gives me that little bit of extra adrenaline. Like it's like standing on top of the vert. It's like you don't want to do it, but you're gonna do it anyways because you're out there and you might as well just, if you're gonna show it now. So that's like the sensation I get when I skate contests. That's why I've always done it. But now, like being in the streets more is like giving me that same feeling. I'm like, oh yeah, well I can do stuff here. Like it's not only it doesn't have to be an environment where there's like a shitload of people watching. It can just be me and Chris, and he's a good motivator though. Like I'll be like, "No, you got this." Like I'm bringing you to the spot, and he's super down. So that's like that helps.
Yeah, no, he's great at bringing out the best of people that he's shooting instead of just like. Because there are filmers that are like that too. Yeah. They're like, "Okay, are we gonna get this one?
Try 700."
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, they don't say that, but you can just feel it from them.
Yeah.
No, that's
no.
You need that from a filmer though. Like they have to be down to go as well, because you're throwing yourself like off of buildings, so you might as well like have someone who's had to like at least shoot that. So that's sick with Chris. Yeah, I love that.
In your doc, when you hurt your knee before the Olympics, what was that timeline? Because you had surgery.
Yeah, I think it was well.
Did you tear your meniscus?
No, well, the kind of a thing. I locked up my knee at that. Like I felt like I was gonna go 5-0 the rail, but then I was like, no, I'll do an ollie first, which I never do. So I ollie down a stair, and my knee locked, and I was like, oh my god, I think I can't move my knee anymore. I was like, what is happening? And I was already struggling with my knee, but that was like the final straw. And then I went to my physical therapist, and she was like, yo, we gotta like look into this because this is not like the way it normally is.
So you couldn't straighten it?
I couldn't straighten my leg, and it hurt so bad. And I was like, whoa, I thought I messed something up real bad. And apparently, like, I already ran out of cartilage. I kind of knew because I had the feeling it was like that. But at that part, my cartilage was gone. So there was like these massive craters in my cartilage. So they had to straighten it out. I tore my meniscus. I had like some. That was probably why it locked, like little bones in there.
That's what happened to me. That's why I right there with you. I tore my meniscus.
Yeah.
And the torn part got caught between my patella and my knee. So I was stuck like that.
Yeah. So weird.
I was stuck like that flying home from.
And it hurts like that so much.
Oh my God, it hurts so bad. I was stuck like that flying home from Japan. Like stuck with it bent. But I figured out a move. If I kicked it sideways, it would actually release it.
I still do that because sometimes it gets stuck like that as well, and I have to like. It's like a dog.
That's crazy that you have that too.
Yeah, it's weird, but they tried to like fix it, but it like.
Yeah, I had mine. I was young when it happened. I had mine removed, and now people are telling me, yes, my doctor's telling me you don't have any more cartilage left. I'm like, all right, well.
Well, that was like what was going to happen anyway.
Right.
Eventually, yeah.
That's it. So we were heading towards that anyway.
I used to have that with my ankle. Something would get caught, and I would just keep flicking my foot until it would release.
It's
and
like
then I got somebody.
But the wild thing
is, it was a bone spur, I guess.
Yeah,
because I had to get it grinded off.
Yeah, because I had like little floating bones in there as well, so they took those out as well.
But the wild thing is when your knee, it really is just locked at an angle, bent, And then if you do that move, it's totally fine. It's like, oh, yes.
Yeah, such a relief.
Yeah, it's so weird.
I know what that feels like. No, but I think that was like 6 months before the Olympics or something. So it was stressful, but like there
But
was
you did have surgery.
Yeah, because there was no other
Yeah.
option. Like we already we pushed it already. Like we were pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And then
It's
she was
outside.
like, we have to do it right now. Like
Right.
if we're gonna do the surgery.
Out of the building.
Yeah, you have get
I've got
out
a
of
coffee.
here.
Yeah, I'm kicking your friend out. No, I ordered a coffee and I'm like, it's probably just melting.
You
So
order coffee? It's sitting outside, probably
Yeah,
waiting.
yeah.
Nice.
Oh, you got it delivered.
yeah.
Okay, someone
I
send me
didn't do
coffee,
yeah, I did it
please.
before the show started. I was like, it's gonna make it. I'm like, it's not gonna make it.
Yeah, we don't
Aw.
have a staff here for the show,
Oh,
as you
No.
can tell.
Well, no one. Well, he's gonna probably bring.
I had to
coffee.
go buy memory cards at Best Buy. Just
In
now.
my car, which
Yeah.
I'm so pissed I don't have video of. I just want to see, nah, mate, flying down the road with your head in it. So much
It
cooler.
was fun to drive. I miss driving a stick.
It's a fun car.
Yeah.
Oh, you drive a stick?
Yeah.
That's like.
Yeah, it's way
very
quicker.
European.
And his
It's way more
does-
fun.
His does auto speed shifting, which I've never felt before.
What is that?
It's nerdy stuff.
When you're
I don't see.
in a higher gear, you shift down. When you shift, like if you're in third gear and you come to a lighter or whatever and you shift into second,
Yeah.
it knows that you're shifting in second. So it revs the engine to slip it into gear. Like if you were
It's something you would do manually normally if
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
you're
yeah.
racing or whatnot, and you're
keep the
in-
revs
But
up.
is it kind
Yeah.
of like a race car you have?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's legal. Like they sell them like that.
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
It was the
legal.
first time it happened though. I went from third to second, but I was still going pretty fast. And then
Yeah.
I felt it gun. And I was like, did that just know I was downshifting?
Yeah, it does.
That's
Pretty
sick,
sick.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a little bit of a race car.
It's not there.
There's nothing there. Cool.
So bummed.
Are you gonna ask him to keep checking?
No, because it was
Keep
already.
check every 5 minutes. Just kidding.
Yeah, there's nothing
Maybe
there.
there's like a couple.
Are there people in
coffees
parking
sitting
lot coming to skate?
Maybe they took it.
there. They took the coffee. Oh,
There's a very
it's messed up.
there's a few people that have the magic key here, so usually there are a couple sessions on weekends.
Weekend sessions. Do you
Weekend
still do
sessions.
like daily sessions? You used to, right?
Well, I try.
Yeah.
I project that I do,
That's good.
but
a start.
honestly, like with my leg, if I get one good day that I skated hard, I have to take 2 days off
Yeah.
at least,
So
because
it's
the next
not-
day I'm limping and
Right.
complaining and whining, and then
2
it
days
feels
after you
good.
can
I'm
go
like, oh, I'm
again.
back here. That's how it goes. It's okay. And I've accepted that, and like Jason said, celebrated the small victories in it
I
instead
was
of
seeing because I
big
remember
thing.
seeing a post of you where you're like, if I can like walk without a stick, I'll be like, like
Yeah.
you're already pushing it. You're like, okay, and if I can drop
I
in again,
shot-
I'll.
we shot a commercial here last week, and the people that were shooting the commercial, they told me that all I needed to do was drop in for the commercial because we had all this other dialogue and stuff to do. And so I was like, all right, I'm mentally prepared for that. And I know that if I'm dropping in, I want to make it look like a legit drop in where I've got strong legs and I'm trying to get
Yeah.
speed, which is not how I drop in right now.
No.
I'm in the back seat. I'm very careful. And so I'm psyching myself up for that. And then they said, oh, well, we do have this one shot where we have this thing in the foreground and you're in the background just skating. I was like, just skating? What do you mean just skating? They go,
Yeah.
well, just if you're just going back and forth. I'm like, well, is your frame above the coping or below the coping? And it's like, oh, it's like half and half. Like we can see half the ramp. And I was like, so you're saying I got to do a line? That's what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah.
Like they didn't understand. To them, they're
Yeah.
just like, yeah, just cruise. Like kick
You
turns.
got
I'm like,
it? Yeah.
that's not what I'm trying to show of my. And so then I had to like really psych myself up to do like a 6-trick line.
What?
And it was pretty humbling. Because it took me a long time to get the strength to do that. Like when I
Yeah.
skate now, it takes me about 20 minutes to get my leg firing so that
Hmm.
I can trust it. So I had to go. I didn't have the time to do that. They're shooting. This is a crazy shoot. There's 40 people here doing the shoot, and so I just had to like kind of force it. And it took a few different attempts, but it's so weird to like be freaking out on not being able to, do a body jar
Yeah.
or miss the 50-50, like all that stuff. It was just weird. It was the first time that I did it on camera,
That's wild.
but I don't know where I was going with that, but
Couldn't just
You
say
force yourself into
not
it.
right
I had to
now.
force myself into it.
You can just say maybe not today because I'm recovering from a broken leg.
They knew it. But I guess what I was trying to say is they saw me, and a lot of the people in the commercial was like, we saw you walk.
You look healthy.
We didn't think you could skate. No,
Oh,
because
like
I
that.
was
Yeah,
limping
yeah.
that day. Like, we didn't think you could skate. Like, it seems like it's easier for you to skate than walk. I'm like, kind of, because I don't have to put one foot in front of the other.
It is ridiculous
That's
when he
insane,
falls
huh?
off and gets up, like how he gets up.
Yeah,
It's
he thinks
just-
it's cool. I don't think it's
What is
cool.
it?
He's destroyed. He can't get up. He looks like he
Is
hurt
it-
himself
Do
every
you do
time
the
he
turtle
gets up.
technique? You're like turning your stomach first and then you get up.
No, but I'm definitely favoring one side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
I mean,
Can't believe
if
you're
you-
already
you can
skating
see
though.
my shoes.
It just seems weird when it's difficult for somebody to get back up to stand, just stand,
And then do tricks.
and then do, a bunch of tricks.
Put it
Yeah,
this way.
that's
These
insane.
are I've only skated these a couple times, but you can see which side I'm favoring with the knee slides.
Right.
I'm not
Sick.
dropping this one. It's okay. Anyway,
You're
enough about
doing
me.
good. You're doing amazing.
Yeah,
Get in
you're-
there,
You're
get in
doing
there.
good.
Baby steps, right?
That's what we're going for.
Yeah.
Baby steps are still steps.
What's that? True.
Yeah.
How do you feel in comparison to when you were recovering your knee and expediting that for the Olympics?
Mhm.
Now that you're not under that time constraint, do you feel like it's stronger than it was then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because like right before the Olympics, it was nice to have like a goal because
Mhm.
I knew, okay, it wasn't like a question. I was gonna be healthy in those 6 months. I was like, okay, but we had like a few bumps along the way. Like it was kept swelling up like really big, and I was like, oh my god, I'm not gonna make it on time. But I knew what I was going for, so it was like
Mhm.
I was working towards there. But I was also like pushing myself way further than I should have because of the time limit. And then after the Olympics, I had like a bunch of time, but I got mentally messed up a little bit. And then at one point, I couldn't skate at all. Like my knee just gave up on me, and I was like, "What? Wait,
Before Tokyo.
no, after."
After Tokyo.
Yeah, and I was like, "Wait,
Weird.
what is happening?" Like it felt like a giant setback, but that was like a mental thing. I was just like had like this block in my body, which was like a block in my brain, whatever. But now I feel like I can do 2-3 sessions a day again, which I wasn't able to do before the Olympics. And now I'm like, wait, I can like
Without a surgery or
Yeah.
anything.
wait. I did the surgery before the Olympics, but then afterwards I was like, what? It was like it got worse and
Can
worse
you
and
imagine
worse.
saying
No,
that,
honestly, it was
that we
just-
skate 2 or 3 sessions a day?
No,
No.
but it's, I haven't been
No,
able to do that
cannot.
for so long. Like
I mean, I guess I
couldn't
could do
that.
2 or 3 sessions a day if we came here and I did one ride and then left.
That
got
was one
lunch,
session.
yeah, and then,
then the
you're like,
other
well,
one.
I could do it. All you guys are all consumed with yourselves. I'd be like, man, you're ripping out there. I mean, I'm just hanging on the deck, like
Session 2, let's
I'll
go.
drop in, do a grind, be like, woo, okay, we're ripping, right? We're all shredded. I'm gonna go grab a coffee, and I'll go get a coffee. I'll come back. Like, all right, second session, let's fucking do this.
A new
Like,
crew.
Do a 50
Hey.
yeah, new crew. Like I was here this morning ripping. Let's skate now, you know what I mean? And then
Post
do like a
clips
couple
on
50-50s, maybe an eggplant. Be like, whoo, all right, fucking who's hungry? I'm going to get lunch.
Session 2.
Yeah, session. I could totally do that. It would be, but even that, I feel like that would be hard work by the third time.
Just
like,
warming
"Oh."
up twice.
I don't know, yeah, and I sweat crazy. Like it takes. If I take 3 rides, I'm sweating.
Yeah.
So.
I just look at a board and start sweating. Like it happens.
Oh, you have
Like,
it too?
Yeah, I have it too. It's fine though.
No one's beat me. I would like to have a sweat race with anybody who thinks
Hey,
they can
well,
beat
I'm not
me.
gonna beat you. That's
It's
for sure.
it's ridiculous. I feel like bringing a towel to the ramp would be a
It
courteous
wouldn't be a
thing
bad
to do.
idea. Yeah.
It just keeps coming out, and I have patches where I was, and I feel bad because I'm like, no one else has a patch where they were. I do.
Oh, yeah, like if
Yeah,
he
it's
falls
insane.
and he slides out,
Yeah,
and there's
yeah.
a wet spot. Yeah, we talked about that. That's
See
when
what
I
happens.
know, when I leave a trail like that, that's when I know that I am fully in it,
Right.
trying some
But
tricks,
honestly, like-
and I've been trying it too long.
I
That's what I know.
like the way it feels though. Like when you're super sweaty, like you're putting in the work.
Yeah.
I love that
Yeah.
feeling though. Like it's good.
Yeah, I don't mind. I think
in
it
a
gets,
ramp, it's not that convenient maybe, but on street it doesn't matter. Like you just keep going.
No, no,
It's-
I feel that way, but
Yeah.
but also there's a part of me that's
Yeah,
like,
you know, it's
oh
like-
my, just
yeah.
make trick.
Yeah.
Like, just stop sweating your ass off and falling.
I mean, it does get like it'll come out when I drop in. Sometimes it'll come out of my helmet into
Oh.
my eyes.
Ah.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like, that doesn't
and you
help.
get a double
Yeah.
vision in
Yeah.
one eye, like a bubble. That's the worst.
Yeah, that doesn't help. And sweaty fingers. That's why I usually sand my board these days because I'm usually sweaty hand guy.
Yeah.
So if I get the shine off the bottom of the board, my hand holds on a little better. It's
Wow.
terrible.
It's all tricks of the trade for
That's
vert.
smart, yeah.
It's just survival for sweaty
Now
people.
that you're skating vert,
Yeah, and I'm in this game now.
because you dropped in.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to say let's go.
That was
So,
one
that's good.
session for me, so
There we
Do you know
go.
how to knee slide?
No.
no way, right?
I've never done a knee slide in my life.
Isn't that fascinating?
It really
so
is.
scary.
You know what's even more fascinating? Pro BMX vert riders that can't
Dude,
knee
oh,
slide.
they don't know how to knee slide.
Dude, but it's sketchy. Like I remember like going onto a vert for the first time and someone was like, yeah, you got to learn how to knee slide first before
Right.
you do anything. I was
It
like,
does
okay,
help.
cool. And they were like, yeah, you just get on top of the ramp and you slide. I was like, hell no, that's not going to happen.
yeah.
I
Yeah, I
would
don't
be
think
on
that's
my
the
board.
best way to do the first one. I think maybe do
So
a kick turn and
sketchy.
jump
Yeah, no,
off.
this is-
Jumping
yeah,
off the
that-
deck into a
Oh,
knee
that's
slide
so
is
scary.
even for me a bit.
Yeah.
You don't want to clip your toes, but you don't want to jump out too far. So it's kind of sketchy. I would
Yeah, I
way
would
rather-
definitely not do that. Like
Yeah.
I see how long it took me to like drop in. That like doing a knee slide, jumping off my board, that would be. full-
and your knees are a little sensitive, right?
yeah, and I don't. Yeah, I want to see it because I don't understand how you guys do that. Like falling like this with my
Well,
knee
you
doesn't
take
bend like that.
one step to
Yeah.
absorb the impact.
Yeah, the foot
And then
first.
you-
It's 1 foot, but it's real quick, and then
Yeah.
that goes to your knees. So it's like you don't really fall from 10 feet straight to
Yeah,
your
like
knee.
it distributes the impact more.
Yeah.
I
And
don't know,
sometimes that's a little further than you want it to be. So
Yeah.
that step hurts and the knees hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, mega ramp is the worst one to knee slide on if you are a little too far out. Like I've pulled out before a little too far, and when I went to knee slide, I just exploded and all my pads came flying off, and I was like, "What the?" Like I think I need to go to the medical tent, and that was I mean I was like, I'm not gonna make this one." Boom, boom, and I'm like, "Okay." I gotta
Actually,
do that.
when I was shooting that commercial, they wanted me to wear white recaps, and the white recaps are a different formula. So
So
my
it's
first knee
sticky.
slide, no, it felt like someone put turbo wax on them.
Oh,
So my
extra
first knee
fast.
slide, I was like, whoa! I fell back and to my side. Like I got a hipper from the knee slide.
Because it was so
Because
quick.
it literally felt like they put rockets in it.
That's insane.
So
it's so scary.
yeah, these are all
Never.
You know,
little
I accidentally landed on my board on my knee the other day, like trying to do a tail slide over the gap,
Yeah.
and I just sort of fell in a weird way where the board landed perfectly where I landed, and my knee snapped my board in half.
No way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I was like, that was a lip trick.
weird. Yeah, I got on video.
Like how much?
That's beast.
How much? Yeah, I was like, how much pressure? That made me.
Are you putting on your knees?
Yeah, I'm like, man, how much weight do I? If that broke, and then I do 30 of those from way higher all day, I'm
Yeah.
like, man, that's gonna add
Wow,
up.
that's insane.
Yeah, and I
know that
didn't
was
know that.
possible.
This is like new to me. I did not know that.
But
your
I
knee-
do feel like especially what you do and absorbing impact going downstairs,
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
way
as
harder.
damaging. I think
Yep.
It's probably harder
I don't know.
because
Like,
you're
I
not
think
you're not also not taking that step to absorb it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I feel like if you just land everything, you're fine. You just
Wow.
don't. You just gotta commit to stuff. Like, but
Let's ask Jaws.
but it's with stairs. Well, for him, it's different. Like he's built different though. Like,
He has
He
to
is,
be.
yeah.
yeah, it's insane.
To
Like
do
the thing-
that.
if I would do like one thing he does, like I'll be done.
Yeah.
Like my career would be over. He's insane though. I don't know. Like taking impact is hard, but I can do two sessions again, so that's good. So with my
That is, hey, I'm
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with that.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
both
I
envious.
stopped that a few years ago.
hey, but it's
The
like
2-session day.
I can still go. Got it.
Yeah, 2 and 3. Well,
But yeah, but I used to be like before Tokyo, I could skate an hour and a half max, and then that was it. Like that was my day, and I had to take 2 days off, so it was like
oh yeah,
super stressful. But now I'm like I can skate 3-4 days in a row and have 2 sessions a day, and then yeah, I still have to like take some time off every once in a while
Mhm.
because now I drove like about 2 hours, and then I feel like my knees like stiff and stuff. But
oh yeah.
it's definitely not like it was, so that's good.
What's your? Do you have any dream tricks in mind?
Oh, Flipback Smith.
Flip back
what?
Smith
Yeah, that's like because I just like I learned
on a
back-
ledge,
No, on a rail.
on a rail.
Well, on a ledge would be
Either
sick,
one.
but on a rail would be like the goal.
Yeah.
You feel like rail would be more likely because you can lock in.
Yeah, because I've done like flip back lips, but on
Okay.
like bump to bars.
Yeah.
And I really love the way it looks. Like I've seen a million, and Zion really doesn't really well. I screen recorded like all of his flip back smiths, but it's like you just want to. I don't know that. It
You do
makes so much
backsmiths on
sense
rails.
somehow. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, I just started learning them on down rails, to be honest. Like
Okay.
I've been doing that out of bumps for a while, and I could do them on A-frames, but I've never done it on down rails. So I just started that, and I was like, oh, okay, this feels right because I can do back lips,
Mhm.
but
So when you're
There's
saying
more
it's a dream
space.
trick, you are working towards it, or it's something you're just like, oh, that would be amazing if I could do that sometime.
no, I'm working towards it.
Yeah.
But that's like because I thought my career was over with that knee, and I was like, okay, what's like, what's the one trick you still want to do before you're unable to skate? And I was
Mm-hmm.
like the first thing that comes to my mind is flipback Smith. But then I know there's like more things I want to do. Like I want to learn how to crook nollie heel.
That's a good one.
No, it's like nollie heel and like all that stuff. But like flipback Smith would be the feeling I want to experience.
I saw you trying to figure out no slide nollie heels with tech decks in her dock.
It's so hard.
She's literally doing it with her fingers, trying to figure out the motion.
Wait, does that help?
Yeah, it's
I thought it was just a shot of her playing with tech decks.
Yeah.
And then you get into it and she's like, no, she's trying to figure out the motion.
Because also I can't like fingerboard for shit. Like I suck at it. Like I have a fingerboard sponsor and they're insane and they make such good fingerboards. But it's like I just can't do the motions. But then it helps. Like I do it with two hands as well. It's really not how you should do it. But I do it with two hands and then I figure out like, okay, you gotta like pop it back first. It's like you visualize when you're like hurt or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if you do that, but when you visualize, it helps. And when I watch clips, it helps. But when I do it with my fingers, I can feel the sensation a little bit. Like, it works.
It's funny in your doc to see that scene when you're fingerboarding and trying to figure it out.
Yeah. I figured it out, but it's hard. Like
but I thought it was like I said, I thought it was just a scene with you fingerboarding for fun. And then it's like, no, we're skating.
We're working.
We are we are in training
we're
here.
Working out here.
Trying to figure out. I don't think that I could do anything on a fingerboard on a ramp that would help me in my skating.
No.
I don't know.
Whenever I fingerboard, I just do impressions of what I can already do on vert.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just do like indie airs and shit. Cause I'm like, fucking flip shit. I don't do that.
Inverse, like grab it, like.
But don't you do that? Like when for me, like when I go up to a park, I'm like, and I try to envision my run, I do it with my fingers. I'm like, I'm going to do front spin.
That's
what I do. But
I feel like I've seen people do that in contests before. I've done that with my fingers before on the deck where I'm like trying to imagine myself flicking into something and I'm doing it with my fingers, but I've never gone to the point of like, okay, here's the fingerboard, here's the ram, I'm going to come in and pop. Not that pop.
I'm going to get you. We just did a whole line with Hot Wheels skate.
Yeah.
And they're fingerboards, but they come with detachable shoes for your fingers.
No way.
And the shoes attached to the board if you want them to.
Yeah.
So it's sick for inverts.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be better at that.
I got some in my car. Actually, I'll give you a set.
Let's shred.
That's sick.
Right.
Let's shred. No, that's rad. It works.
We should have a contest. That's what's going to happen. We'll be in contests in 10 years from now where it's just fingerboard contests. Yeah.
Hey, it exists. There's
there are some.
I want to say there's a giant underground scene. Like there's world championships and everything.
Yeah.
Ah.
You've never seen the series. Like,
it's insane.
It's crazy.
It looks beautiful as well.
What?
It's not like.
What is happening right now? There's a fingerboard scene.
There's a whole scene.
Yeah.
Where they're good.
Really good.
So,
Does that mean sponsored?
Yeah, and they have like style and all that stuff. Like it's
No, they
sick.
don't have hand. No, they don't.
No, like you have different styles. And like honestly, like most people fingerboard how they skate. So you can like there's a whole world out there.
Man, I hope I don't skate like I fingerboard. That would be sad.
Give it some time.
It's sick. You should check it out.
We'll get there. We'll merge those two worlds.
Maybe I should practice that. I do still always do that. My wife laughs at me like I still do.
Oh, before fingerboards, I would do it in school on my note, but just in school, just like
people do it
like
on
this,
their phones
like
and
this.
everything.
Grab a pencil, front and invert all day.
Yeah. I feel like I do fake front
The
and
irony is that
inverts.
my
See,
front and
it's
inverts are terrible,
visualizing.
but.
I feel like I do that on tables and stuff. I always point out when there's like a bank to a handrail when I'm driving by it. And my wife's like, because I've pointed out to my wife several times that there's no chance in hell that I could actually do that bump to the rail. But I'll be like, ooh, that one's sick. And my wife's like, what is it? I'm like, that fucking bank. And there's a rail. You can like bang. And she's like, why don't you do it? I'm like, there's no way in hell I could do that. She's like, why are you noticing it? I'm like, I don't know. I don't get it.
Brain.
Yeah, I just see it.
It's a skater's mind.
Hey.
See what I did there? Brought it back around.
We're back in the loop.
Dude.
Oh my God.
I'm a pro at this. I'm a pro at this.
He's pumped on himself.
I'm so excited.
It's like dad jokes of podcasting.
Yeah. No, very good. That's the way you want to
You're
end
welcome.
it. Yeah.
You did good.
Nice work.
Okay. Hey, thank you, Kenny, for coming.
Shit.
Thanks for sharing your story.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for ripping all the time. Thanks for representing Birdhouse and representing women skating and being a great advocate and pushing through one of the hardest things that I could ever imagine a competitor dealing with. If you were to say, what's the worst case scenario you've gone to the Olympics? No one could ever imagine that.
No. definitely not.
in any scenario.
No.
And you came through like a champ. So I wish you luck for the next one. But
You don't
so much
need
other
it.
stuff going on.
It's in the bank.
It's in the bank.
Believe it.
Yeah.
I see it when I look at you, but I'll get there. I'm working on it.
That's all you got to
I'll be
do.
there. No, I'll be there.
Hey,
What?
I'll be there.
I also have to clarify. I still hate myself. I'll
You
still
come back to all of it. I
but
still
it's all,
hate
but
myself. It doesn't work.
there's that thing that I always have in the back where I'm like, you can doubt yourself all you want, but when it comes down to it, you can do it. I know I can do it. I know I'm a venomous fucking person when I need to be. I can execute all kinds of shit when I need to do it.
Yeah.
I know that in my heart. But every now and then, sure, I'm like, dude, you're the worst. You might be the worst. I've said that I've tried to do a Ollie Impossible for like 2 hours at one point, and I verbally just said, you're the worst skateboarder I've ever seen. I was just telling myself that. And then I drove off. Like, what the fuck? And
then you did it.
Just the other day, I
And
made
then you
it.
did it. Yeah.
Yep.
See?
Shit one, but whatever. I took it.
I think that voice in my head is just, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I heard you say that.
That's it. That's my voice. and then I get up and do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Get up and do it. That's what it's all about.
Are you kidding me? Like to yourself. Are you fucking kidding me? Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Let's go.
cannot be serious about this right now.
Yeah. And sometimes that's the best mind space to be in
Sure.
to get it done, where you're like,
Hey,
you know
sometimes-
what? That's absurd. You will do
Yeah,
this.
this is ridiculous.
right now.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I know
Because you
that
got to
one.
make that switch when you're not sure you can make it, and there's the danger element, and you're like, oh, I could get hurt, or oh, that's not really there. And then gets to the point where you almost make it, and then you know that you kind of jumped off that one, or enough is enough. I've had enough.
Yeah.
I am now. It's unfortunate. I wish I could just go to the ramp and be like, this zone that I'm in right now,
Yeah.
after the first hour of torturing myself, completely sweated out, burnt out clothes. Why couldn't have you just come with, okay, here we go, I'm going to do it right now?
Yeah,
No.
but it's only that little time span though. But we use it. We use it.
Yeah,
proper.
but you have to go through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll
We'll
all
get
get there. Candy, thank you. And we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Like and subscribe. Say something in Dutch.
Like en subscribe. Oh, vind het allemaal leuk. Schrijf je in. En ik zie jullie heel snel. Dankjewel.
Yeah, and check out our doc. See ya.
That's cool.
See.